Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. My name is Scott Reich, and this is Crime Talk. We have an excellent show for you today. First, will there be murder charges for Alex Murdaugh? Well, word on the street is yes. Remember the Alabama prisoner that ran away with the correctional officer because they were in love? Well, he's now charged in her death. Wait until you hear of the New York prosecution's reasons why the girlfriend of the gangster punk thug won't be prosecuted for stabbing the New York Bodega worker, Jose Alba. The always peaceful, never angered Johnny Depp is settling his civil battery case. It will depend on the HOV Lane definition for multiple occupants, and then finally, our dumb criminal of the day. Let's talk about it. All right, Crime Talk aficionados, you know the drill. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. Like the video if you do, and hit that bell to receive notifications of when we put up new content or do a live broadcast. And speaking of live broadcasts, well, we just happen to have one going tonight at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Please come and join us. Now, today is July 12th, 2022. Let's begin with the docket. First, is Alex Murdaugh going to be indicted for murder? Well, investigators and prosecutors leading the double homicide inquiry at the heart of the Murdaugh murders, crime and corruption syndicate are moving forward with murder charges, so the word on the street goes. Could there be an indictment by as early as the end of this week? Possibly. Investigators with the South Carolina State Law Enforcement Division, affectionately known as SLED, are set to present evidence to a grand jury that implicates Murdaugh in the June 7th, 2021 murder of Maggie Murdaugh and Paul Murdaugh at the family's little country hunting property. That testimony apparently could be as early as Thursday of this week. Now, typically, the prosecution believes they have enough to proceed to trial if they're going to present their case to a grand jury. Well, if there is an indictment, perhaps we'll learn a motive for the double homicide. Was the murderer acting alone? How were the killings carried out? What about the ironclad alibi that Alex Murdaugh was supposed to have had? And Maggie Murdaugh appears to have been lured to the hunting property that night by her husband under the guise of visiting his dying father. Now, Mr. Murdaugh was identified as a person of interest in connection with the slaying of his wife and younger son, and Maggie and Paul were killed at the family's sprawling 1,700-acre hunting property, for those unfamiliar with the case. Paul Murdaugh was hit by a pair of shotgun blasts, one at the head, the other at the arm and chest. Multiple shots killed Maggie Murdaugh from a semi-automatic rifle at or around the time that her son was killed. 2 of Maggie Murdaugh's gunshot wounds were allegedly inflicted as she lay on the ground, consistent with initial reports that the shooting was an execution-style slaying. Now, as you may also recall, the bodies just happened to be discovered by Alex Murdaugh, who called 911 at approximately 10:07 p.m. Now, Murdaugh provided investigators with what his attorneys described as ironclad for his whereabouts at the time of the shooting, and his attorneys said that Alex was not a suspect and had been fully cooperating with SLED. Well, police never indicated they were searching for a suspect related to the homicides, and immediately reassured all the residents there in the low country of South Carolina that there was no danger to the community. And reports have been that there has been a high-velocity impact spatter found on Murdaugh's clothes, placing him at the scene of the murders when at least one of the victims was killed. Apparently, there's also some audio and video evidence obtained by investigators which call into questions previous statements provided by Alex Murdaugh to those investigators. Of course, there is always that cellular phone data that could assist investigators in tracking Murdaugh's movement at the time of the murders, helping them create a timeline for what maybe actually happened versus what Murdaugh and his attorneys told the police. Phones always get them, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, a double homicide indictment will complicate Alex Murdaugh's legal matters. The statewide grand jury has already indicted Mr. Murdaugh on 79 criminal counts alleging he defrauded multiple victims out of nearly $8.5 million. 2 others have been indicted in connection with Murdaugh's alleged financial crimes, and Mr. Murdaugh has also been indicted along with co-conspirator Eddie Smith, or Curtis Eddie Smith, I should say, in connection with a plot to stage his own murder, ostensibly to make sure his son would collect a $10 million life insurance policy. Oh, and don't forget the drug conspiracy charges that were filed within the last 2 weeks. Mr. Murdaugh is incarcerated at the Alvin Glen Detention Center in Richland County, where he's currently being held on a $7 million surety bond. We undoubtedly give Mr. Murdaugh the presumption of innocence on all of these allegations. And to that nice lady that always comments in the comment section that says, "I'm just out to ruin a good and honorable man." That's right, Alex Murdaugh. I say, let's wait and see where the evidence leads us. Just saying, very nice lady that always leaves me comments. Now, before we get to our next case, let's support those who support Crime Talk. Please go to crimetalksearch.com, sign up for a background subscription service. You'll be happy you did. If there's anyone out there you were ever curious about what was in their background, now is the time to do it. If you're going to get involved with somebody, now is the time to do it. When you go to crimetalksearch.com, you put in the name, literally millions of public records are searched, and a report is generated. And it's going to give you a report. If they have multiple social media accounts, you're going to find it. If they have multiple phone numbers, multiple email addresses, it's going to be found. And more importantly, you're going to get information regarding criminal history. Hopefully the person you're searching has none whatsoever. But if it's there, it's going to be found. You're going to get everything you'd want to know, whether you're going into business or whether you're going into a personal relationship. You're going to be able to find out the information you want to know. So go to crimetalksearch.com, sign up today. You'll be happy you did. Don't you just love a good love story? Do you remember that Alabama inmate, Casey White? Well, guess what? He's been charged with the murder of his prison guard lover, Vicky White, after she helped him escape from prison, and the pair went on the run for 11 days before ultimately being caught. Well, Casey and the prison guard staged a pretty well-planned escape from the Florence, Alabama jail for what correctional officer Casey falsely claimed was a mental health evaluation back on April 29th. The pair then swapped vehicles and used disguises as they made it across 3 states. Now, the pair were on the run for 11 days. Now, Vicky White was shot dead after a police chase in Evansville, Indiana. And police said that at the time she shot herself in the head. Casey was immediately arrested after the chase on May 9th. Well, the district attorney announced that Casey had been indicted for murder. It does not state that he shot Vicky in the head. The indictment shows that the 6'9" standing prisoner has been charged with first-degree escape, and in the course and furtherance of committing escape in the first degree, caused the death of Vicky White, who died from a gunshot wound to the head, aka that is known as felony murder. There are certain crimes which the legislatures have said are so dangerous that if you engage in them and somebody dies in that conduct, guess what? You get to spend the rest of your life in prison. So we'll follow this. Now, Mr. Casey already has big troubles before he met the prison guard Casey, and he's probably never getting out of prison. He'll probably never, ever be outside of a cell with no less than 2 to 3 officers surrounding him. But I don't think this was exactly how the love story was supposed to end. Well, just like life, things don't always turn out the way you hope them to. What is going on in New York? Okay, the girlfriend of that thug who was stabbed to death by the Bodega store worker that he attacked has not been charged because prosecutors feel that she was defending her boyfriend who was stabbed. After all, Jose Alba was defending himself from the thug, Austin Simon. Isn't that just rich? The girlfriend can defend Austin Simon, who went in there to attack Mr. Alba, but Mr. Alba can't defend himself. And then when she stabs Mr. Alba, the unidentified girlfriend is said to be defending her boyfriend. On July 1st, for those who don't recall, Mr. Alba stabbed Simon in the neck and the chest in self-defense after Simon charged into the store to confront him. Alba had just refused to give Simon's girlfriend a bag of chips. She tried to pay for the $3 snack, but her EBT card was declined. She summoned Simon to come take care of Mr. Alba. Simon, who was on parole for assault, can be seen wearing a $350 designer shirt, but apparently couldn't help his girlfriend pay for the bag of chips. Alba's supporters include Mayor Eric Adams, who says it's a clear case of self-defense and that he never should have been arrested. Now, as we brought you the video, it clearly shows that Mr. Alba said basically he was not looking for any trouble whatsoever. And Mr. Simon insisted that there was money on the card, and Mr. Alba attempted to run the card again. It didn't happen that way. And when Mr. Simon basically came into the work area behind the counter, he's saying, "What's up with you, N? What is wrong with you?" He continued to yell. And in previous footage that were released, the fight between the two men breaks out when Simon goes behind the counter. Like I said, goes behind the counter and is pushing Alba into a chair. Alba grabbed a store box cutting knife to stab him in the neck. Simon later died at the hospital. That's what happens when you go into people's spaces, ladies and gentlemen. That's what happens when you threaten them. That's what happens when you feel as though you are being placed in fear of serious bodily injury or death. That's right. You have a right under the law in just about every state that I can possibly think of to defend yourself. It's almost as though it's some sort of inalienable right to defend yourself. Well, the new video shows Mr. Simon laying out on the bodega floor. His girlfriend is heard yelling. That was over $3. $3 effing. He snatched something out of my daughter's hand. Please help him. But he scans the card, as we stated multiple times, and hands it back to her when it doesn't work. Now the footage cuts to show other customers in the bodega as the woman is heard yelling out of view of the camera. "You can't touch my daughter. Don't snatch that out of my daughter, you effing piece of blank." The woman had reported that Mr. Alba snatched the bag of chips from her daughter's hands when they couldn't pay. She continues, "I'm going to bring my N down here and he's going to F you up. My N is going to come down here right now and F you up." Alba tells her that it's not his fault and simply the card is not working. Well, after a little bit of public outrage, Mr. Alba, who was arrested, his bond was lowered from $250,000 to $50,000, and he was let go after posting the required 10%. Now, the unidentified woman, who we do know is 32 years of age, has not been arrested over the 3 times. That's right, not once, not twice, but 3 times during which she stabbed Mr. Alba on July 1st. We'll just have to wait and see what is happening there. What we do know is apparently some insiders in the police department claim that the girlfriend has not been charged for attacking Mr. Alba because prosecutors believe that she was simply defending her boyfriend. It comes as the New York County District Attorney Alvin Bragg has been accused in recent weeks of having a soft on crime approach to tackling violent offenders. Like I said, the police source has stated the DA's office looked at the tape and they felt that she was defending her boyfriend. They didn't feel charges were necessary. You are looking at how the system works for the average person, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine if there was no video here for Mr. Alba. He would still be in custody based upon the allegations that somehow he did something warranting being attacked. If there wasn't any video for Mr. Alba to show that he was acting in self-defense, he would more than likely be in custody based upon an allegation that somehow he stabbed Mr. Simon for no purpose whatsoever. And the girlfriend would have probably claimed that that's the story. That was it. But we have the video, thank goodness. Mr. Alba should have all of the charges dismissed in this case. It should not be prosecuted because it is a clear case of self-defense. And the unidentified woman, well, she should be charged with an aggravated assault. But I have to say this, whatever you people of New York are thinking about doing when voting for politicians and district attorneys, do the complete opposite. Because the politicians that you New Yorkers have voted for have created the situation that you all now have created, that you get. You get the government you deserve. You get the prosecutors you deserve as well. All right. as a reminder that you can listen to Crime Talk anytime you want to by simply searching for Crime Talk on your favorite podcasting apps. And those apps include Apple, Spotify, and Audible. And I must note, we almost have 1 million downloads of the podcast. So, boy, I'd really like to get to 1 million by the end of the month. Just saying. So if you could help. All right, Mr. Johnny Depp settles a civil lawsuit. Yes, that's right. The always peaceful, can never be agitated or become violent when intoxicated, Johnny Depp has settled a lawsuit filed against him by a crew member on the film City of Lies who accused the actor of attacking him during the production of the movie. Now, the actor has come to the legal accord with Greg Rocky Brooks on a settlement, according to reports. Apparently, Mr. Depp has agreed to comply with the settlement by the end of August, according to the court documents. Otherwise, the trial would have proceeded later in July. The settlement agreement conditions dismissal of this matter on the satisfactory completion of the specified terms. They're not to be performed within 45 days of the settlement date. What does that mean? Usually pay money within a certain time period. If not, we'll go to trial. Bottom line. Pretty simple. The request for dismissal has to be filed no later than January 5th of 2023. And like I said, the case will move forward should Mr. Depp not follow through with the terms of the agreement. Now, Mr. Brooks initially filed suit against Mr. Depp in 2018, claiming that Depp in April of 2017 had punched him twice in the midsection, yelled at him, and challenged him to hit him back, offering $100,000. Brooks claimed that Mr. Depp smelled of alcohol in the exchange and had consumed drugs on the set of the movie. Where have we heard that before? I know, everybody loves him. I know, but everybody has a dark side. While Mr. Depp has denied the allegations, Brooks said he was let go from the film when he would not agree to not sue Mr. Depp over the counter. Now, let's face it, perhaps Mr. Depp came to this settlement because, well, even though the allegations are complete and utter fabrications, they could also have some truth to them. It could just be that it's a nuisance matter, paying it to go away because it would cost less to do that than actually go try the case. Or maybe something actually happened. Well, guess what? We'll probably never know exactly what is taking on, but the matter is he settled. And we know he wasn't going to settle with Amber Heard, but he settled this. Just saying. All right, and I'm going to probably mispronounce this name, but I'm sure somebody will let me know how it's pronounced. But Brandy Botone is a pregnant woman, and she is using the decision overturning Roe v. Wade to fight a traffic ticket in Texas. And apparently she's getting a lot of backlash, and she's worried that the added stress could induce an early birth. She's catching a ton of heat for using the Supreme Court decision of Dobbs trying to wiggle out of a ticket for driving solo in the HOV lane, right? The high occupancy vehicle lane. With some folks actually telling her to get an abortion. Well, guess what? She's 34 weeks pregnant. Brandy says she is 34 weeks pregnant when she got pulled over in Dallas County and the cop issued a $275 ticket. She plans to fight it in court, arguing that her child is a person and therefore a passenger under Texas law. And, well, this is Brandy. She's pregnant with her first girl. But like I said, she's concerned about the stresses of everything that's going on. And apparently she had some early induced pregnancies with her 2 sons as well. Now, let's just say, whether you like the argument or not, this is what makes a good lawyer, okay? Now, I don't think she's a lawyer, but she's thinking like one, making an argument based upon the language in the statute and basically saying this applies or this doesn't apply to her as the defendant in this particular case. I would say, though, that an intelligent officer or the district attorney should dismiss this case in the interest of justice. Who wants to be known to prosecuting somebody in the HOV lane? Now, let's face it, we get the privilege here in Colorado. You can drive in the HOV lane as a single person, but like all things in America, it's great. You just have to pay for it. You just have to pay for it. And I pay for it every day so I don't have to sit in traffic. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Anyway, let's cut pregnant women a break. They're entitled to a few perks. I mean, they don't get that much, right? Being pregnant is tough. I know that I've seen parking spots for expectant mothers, a little closer to the doors of like grocery stores and things like that. Let them drive in the HOV lanes. I'm okay with that. You don't want a mom who's uncomfortable because she's pregnant sitting in traffic. It's going to be hot. It's going to be uncomfortable. And you have to keep mom happy. It's good public policy. If mom is happy, everyone is happy. Just dismiss the ticket. All right, our dumb criminal of the day. Authorities say that a 40-year-old Florida man who wanted to steal a boat earlier this year was arrested over the weekend after he attempted to avoid arrest by fleeing the deputies on a riding lawnmower. That's right. Please meet Dusty Courtney Mobley. He was taken into custody on Saturday and charged with a slew of crimes, including grand theft of a vehicle, felony criminal mischief, 2 counts of resistance of a police officer, possession of a concealed weapon by a felon, carrying a concealed handcuff key, possession of drug paraphernalia, and felony failure to appear. Mr. Mobley is an overachiever, no doubt. According to the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office, deputies on January 3rd located Mobley on a boat in a swamp along the Yellow River and attempted to serve him with multiple outstanding warrants. One of those warrants was in reference to the stolen $40,000 boat, the very boat the deputies say that Mobley was aboard that he had previously stolen. Investigators say that Mr. Mobley on January 1st used a heavy machinery to cut a hole into the side of a metal building located somewhere off of Highway 4 and stole the boat from the business therein. Mr. Mobley allegedly dove off the side of the stolen boat and then disappeared into the swamp to avoid going to jail that day. Mr. Mobley was not so lucky when he ran into the detectives over the weekends. Deputies apparently approached Mr. Mobley at his home when he spotted law enforcement officer. Mr. Mobley allegedly put a John Deere riding lawnmower into high gear and tried to outrun the pursuing deputies. The deputies were able to end the brief pursuit when they tased Mr. Mobley and placed him under arrest. When taken into custody, Mr. Mobley had a revolver on him and a handcuff key in his possession, along with a little bit of methamphetamine and a pipe. Man, is that dumb. Well, Mr. Mobley, you are dumb criminal of the day, a very distinguished and deserved honor. The cops, you know who they are. They were coming for you, and you ran every time, and you made the situation worse. You are indeed a dumb criminal. All right, as a reminder, we have a new design for our CrimeTalk merchandise. You know you want one. Your spouse, your significant other, or your pets have called, and guess what? They said it's okay to get a new CrimeTalk t-shirt, but you have to get 2. You have to bring them one as well. All right? They'll love it. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you later tonight for our live 6 p.m. Mountain Time. We will see you later.